Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Hawashai, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all Akim out there pushing his truth and all truth and sincerity diligently throughout the four corners. I'm the brother Shamar Moth from GMS Miami. Alright. Coming to you Akim with another video. Okay. Lord's will, this video will be edifying to the body, alright? And what I wanted to get into is well, the title of this video straight is going to be, yes, the arrows spoken of in the scriptures are the ICBM missiles, all right? And the reason being is because, this morning I woke up and thought ran through my head is, there's still some people out there that can't believe World War III is going to happen, okay? And I believe, what's today? Today's the 7th. I think it was this morning Putin, RT released a video of their interview with Putin and how Putin was asked will World War III be fought with nuclear missiles, man. And Putin's response was, I believe he went into how Einstein has said if World War III is fought with after World War III is fought, World War IV will be the Fourth World War will be fought with sticks and stones or something like that, and which shows that even Putin knows that World War III is going to be fought with the ICBM missiles, man. Okay, with nuclear warheads, and that brought me to a thought. Some people actually still think that World War III is not going to be fought with nuclear missiles, and we'll go through the scriptures. They always don't know where it say in the scriptures that America is going to be destroyed with nuclear fire, and whenever we show them, some people might buck up and go berserk talking about, that's talking about arrows or whatever the case may be. So yes, the arrows that are spoken of in the scriptures are talking about ICBMs, all right, and in certain places, and we're going to and Lord's will, this video will be edifying, like I said, and I'm going to show where, and I'm going to show how, and bring it out. And Lord will is edifying. So I jump into it. This is Jeremiah 15:14, and it reads, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai." All right. So it says, put yourself in array against Babylon. Babylon being America, okay? Spiritually, Babylon is spiritually called, America is called spiritually Babylon, all right? And those that are supposed to be putting themselves in array are all those countries, man. Every country that has nuclear capability, Russia, Iran, all right? The EU nations that have nuclear capabilities, et cetera, et cetera. And the Lord is going to put the spirit on them to hit the red button, man. Okay, hit the red button and shoot, all right. And they're not gonna spare no arrows, all right. And I'm gonna show. So what I got here is a picture of arrows. It says, I just did a quick Google search, arrows flying through the sky, and hundreds of arrows flying through the sky, and this is how it looks, okay. And you gotta remember, back in those days, John the Revelator, when he seen the 200,000s of thousands of those missiles coming out of heaven, and the prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, etc., when they seen the destruction of America, man, they only had few selection of words to describe what they were seeing, man. All right, that's just like if somebody sees a wrecking ball for the first time and they don't know what a wrecking ball is, and they see the wrecking ball destroying a building, and they want to tell the person of that experience. They're gonna say, "Yo, I seen a big ass truck type thing with a hook on it, and it had a chain hanging, and with a big ass black ball on the end of the chain. It looked like a bowling ball, and it hit the fucking building." Is that a bowling ball that hit the building? No, it's not a bowling ball that hit the building, man. All right, but the wrecking ball looked like a bowling ball, so that was the only word that person probably knew to describe it, so he described it as such. It looked like a bowling ball. So now when that person, when whoever is on the receiving end hears the story, they're going to picture something in the shape of a bowling ball that is black on the end of the on the end of a chain, hooked onto a yellow truck with like a crane attachment, all right, which is a wrecking ball crane or a wrecking ball machine, excavator, whatever you want to call it. That's the same thing when it came to the prophecy and the destruction of America, man. They seen a whole bunch of nuclear warheads flying through the sky, okay, and the nuclear warheads was looking like arrows, man. So they described it as arrows, all right. And when you look at this, you see the tip of the arrow right here. You see a long shaft, wooden piece, and you see like a stabilizer, so to say, to cut the wind or whatever, and be able to keep the arrow balanced to where it gotta go, right? And you seen this, right? Now check this out. Now this is the purpose of a bow and arrow, okay? The bow and arrow is a ranged weapon system consisting of an elastic launching device bow. So the bow, which is this, you see, this is used to launch. All right, this is a device used to launch something, man. All right, this is a propeller. This is basically the tool used to propel the arrow, man. Okay, and the long shafted projectiles, arrows. All right, and these are the arrows, and they're long shafted. All right, you see the tip, and it's long shafted with the stabilizer, and then here's the bow, which is the device to launch this into the air, man. Okay. So all right, it reads, archery is the art, practice, or skill of using bows to shoot arrows. A person who shoots arrows with the bow is called a bowsman or an archer. Someone who makes bows is known as a borer. One who makes arrows is a fleecher, if I'm pronouncing these words right, Shalaki, if I'm pronouncing them wrong. And one who manufactures metal arrowheads is an arrowsmith. Okay. The use of bow and arrows by humans for hunting practices predates recorded history and was common to most prehistoric cultures. Okay. They were important weapons of war across most civilizations throughout ancient history, until the early modern period, where they were rendered increasingly obsolete by the development of the most powerful and accurate firearms, and were eventually dropped from warfare. Today, bow and arrows are used primarily for recreational hunting and shooting purposes. Sporting purposes, Salakia. So the bow and arrow was an important tool of war, man. Okay, just like the nuclear warhead is an important tool of war, and that's why a lot of countries are on a nuclear arms race, man, trying to do what? Manufacture nukes, man. And did they not just list different people who helped to manufacture the arrows? Okay, and that's the same thing. That for you to build a nuke, you have to have scientists to do what? Split the atoms, whatever the case may be. You gotta have engineers to build the nuclear missile the proper way to that, the proper way, whatever it may be. You gotta have you gotta have a building squad, just like you need a building squad for bow and arrow. You need a building squad for the nukes, man. And the nukes are important to warfare, just like the bow and arrow was important to warfare. Because what the bow and arrow did, the bow and arrow, you would have less casualties on your side if you use a bow and arrow, because you were able to launch these arrows, which is the projectiles, at a greater distance, which would save you a heap of men that you might have lost, man, that had to do up close hand-to-hand combats. And it's the same thing that these countries nowadays are pushing to. All right, they don't want to have to go through conventional warfare and have to lose manpower or whatever. So they're willing to use these modern day bow and arrows to hit countries from greater distances, man. It's the same thing, man. All right. And when you look at a nuclear missile, okay, The nuclear missile is designed the same way an arrow designed, man. Come on, man. You got the what? The tip right here, which is the arrow tip, right? Which were made by what? The arrowheads, all right? And these arrow tips, they contain the warheads, man. All right? And the warheads is really what that arrow really what that arrow tip really is when it hits you, man. Because that's what's gonna be used to hit those marks. It's gonna be the warheads that's gonna hit those marks, man. Okay? You got the long shafted body, all right, just like an arrow, long shafted body, okay? And then you got what? You got the little things at the end to stabilize the nuke, man. Just like you got shits at the end to stabilize the arrows, man. What's the fuck is so hard about this shit? Pardon my French, but what's so hard to understand, man? Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. And that bow, them bending the bow is them hitting the red button, man. Because what? That red button, all right, that red nuclear button is going to be the detonator, the nuclear detonator, or what they'll call it, nuclear football, whatever. That's used. You hit the button, and what happens is it sends us. It's like a systematic algorithm that goes from wherever the launch codes is. You hit the button, and however Esau set up the system, from them hitting the button is telling the silos to open up, and it's telling the bottom of the nuclear missile, okay, which has the flame, to ignite and do what? Launch the nuke. Just like somebody would take the arrow, put it on the bow. The bowman would take the arrow, put it on the bow, pull the bow string back, and let go of the bow. That's symbolic of them hitting the button, man. It's just it's so simple, man. All right, it's so simple. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense at all. All right. Moving on. That was hopefully brothers got the drift of what was being explained here. All right. Moving on. This is Isaiah 9:5, and it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." All right. So it says what? For every battle of the warriors is with confused noise, and part of that battle that had the confused noise was the sound of the bow and arrows. Man. And I got a demonstration here. Lord's will, brothers can hear it. Now I replay. Yeah, I replay that one more time. All right, and that was the sound of bow and arrow, man. From you taking it out the quiver, all right, putting it on the bow, pulling the bow back, letting go of the bow, the arrow flying through the air, and it's hitting its mark. Usually it sounds, the arrow flying through the air is a quick or something like that, and it hits his mark. Of whatever the case may be. That was confused. That was confusion, man. That was noise of confusion. Because imagine you already got a fight. You're already hearing shields hitting skulls, shields hitting you hearing hammers hitting shields, swords hitting swords, swords hitting shields, swords hitting skulls, hammers hitting body parts, shields hitting body parts, and then you got it on top of that, arrows. You got to hear arrows flying past your ear. It's hitting shields. It's hitting people. You hearing people screaming, whatever the case may be. All right. This battle is gonna be of what? Of burning the fuels of fire, man. And I got a video of a Russian ICBM launch, man. And you listen to this, and there's gonna be a lot of these, man. All right. know, and that was the sound of a ICBM launch. So to show that the same battles that was with warriors and confused noise, which had the bow and arrows, it's gonna be something in the same likeness, a battle. It's gonna have warriors. It's gonna have confused noise, but this time this confused noise ain't gonna be the noise of swords and of bow and arrows. It's gonna be of ICBMs, man. What's so hard to understand? All right. Moving on. All right. This is Joel 2:1, and it reads, "Blow ye the trumpet in Zion." All right, which is what the apostles on down that are sincere do. All right, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the habitations of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And you see it, now. When you look at your news, you can tell America's time is up, and you can tell that the day of Yahushua's return is at hand. Shit like it. Verse 2: a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. All right, and here's the point: a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them as a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. All right, and when you look at a nuclear missile, okay, I'll slide this way. When you look at a nuclear missile, it says what? A fire. Joel 2 says what? A fire devoureth before them, and a flame burneth, and behind them a flame burneth. Right, and when you look at the nuclear missile, all right, try to find a nuclear slack here. ICBM missile. Salakia. Specs. Boom. Alright, so this is the specs for a nuclear missile, man. ICBM missile, alright, boom. So when you see this right here, let's see if I could Salakia. Click the wrong thing. Trying to open it up to see it bigger. Bear with me, Akim Salaki. What the heck? Alright, I'll just use this. Alright, so I was trying to make it clearer or whatever, but I can't seem to find it bigger. Let's see. Well, I use this, alright, because this is clear. So I interchange these two. So okay, this is a diagram of Russia's new generation of nuclear arsenals. Alright, so when you read Joel 2 and it says a fire devoureth before them and a flame, and behind them a flame burneth, and you look at the nuclear missile itself, the ICBM, it's consisted of different components, man. The first stage, second stage, and third stage. All right, the first stage, it says first stage, all stages use solid fuel, which requires minimum maintenance. All right. So the first stage is what? That flame that burneth behind it. Look at it, man. It's going to do what? Propel like this. It's going to launch. Propel. Then guess what? The second stage is a booster, a second hit of a launch, man. So the first stage propels it to a certain distance, and then it breaks off, and then the second stage picks up where the first stage left off, and it pushes it out even more. All right, and then after the second stage gets to the certain place it goes, then the third stage picks up the rest, man. The third stage launches, all right, it shoots up even further, and then from there, the warheads fall out, man. the warheads fall out, and it hits its certain locations, man. It hits where it was set to hit, man. Okay, and this is where the nuke rests in the warheads, man. So when you read Joel 2, that fire that devoured before them, that's the nuclear warhead that's at the top of the missile, man. All right, and the flame that's behind it, okay, that's the fire that's behind it, man. All right, and it says the land is as the Garden of Eden before, and behind them is the desolate wilderness. And when you look at America, you know, this is I did a quick Google search, which was quick Google search was most beautiful places in America. All right, and when you go there, you know, this countrylivings.com, and when you go to it, you know, you start this gallery, America's most beautiful national parks. You got Glacier National Park in Montana. Look, that was beautiful, man. This is beautiful, man. All right, you got Hogan Beach, Hawaii. That's beautiful. All right, Charleston, South Carolina. You know, the desert, Death Valley. All right, you come on, man. These is beautiful places, man. Look at this tree, man. All right, it's beautiful places. Look at the mountain range, Wyoming, the fields. All right, look at the waterfalls, man. Oregon. All right, you know, et cetera, et cetera. These are beautiful places in America, man. All right, so before the nukes hit, it's beautiful. These places look like this right now, man. Which, you know, I actually been down there before, the Keys or whatever the case may be, which is beautiful as well. Okay, and you see it, man. It's a beautiful place, man. All right, before it's as Garden of Eden, behind it's gonna be a desolate wilderness, because after the nukes hit, that fire that burned at the front of it, which is the nuclear warheads, when these nuclear warheads hit America, the internal temperature that's inside the nuclear warhead, as soon as it hits the earth, is going to explode, and all that internal heat is going to just become external heat, and it's going to melt everything, man. It's going to heat up everything to whatever that internal core heat was, man. So let's say if the nuclear warheads is thousands of degrees Fahrenheit, once it blows up, everything around it is going to turn into thousands of degrees Fahrenheit, man. It's going to melt, man. All right. And after America get destroyed, it's gonna look like this, man. Something like this, but you know, probably gonna be even worse. All right, it's just gonna be even worse. No color, no nothing. It's gonna be a desert out here, man. Yeah, man. It's gonna be yappa. All right, and hey, man, this is not far fetched. It's going to happen, man. All right, it's going to happen. All right, this is 2 Peter 3:7. It reads, "But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word were kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahshua is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord, Yahweh by Hashem Yahshua, will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and all the works, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up." And that's what's gonna happen to America, man. All right, the nukes, which are the arrows, okay, which are the arrows, the nukes, which are the arrows. They're going to be launched out of their silos, which are the bows, all right, in a time of war, okay, just like the bow and arrow were used in war, the nukes is going to be used in this modern war, okay. It's going to get launched. We heard the sound of the nukes when they get launched, which is a confused noise, okay, and what the scripture says it right here, with the great noise, the heavens will pass away with the great noise. That's the nukes being launched in the air, okay, and that fire that's in before it, as the earth is the Garden of Eden before those nukes hit certain places, because the nukes is not just going to hit America. It's going to hit certain parts of the world too. And hey, and this whole earth is beautiful, man. There's a lot of beautiful places out here. And it's going to be beautiful before those nukes hit, and it's going to be desert wastelands. And America is going to be a desert wasteland after America hits, all right? So, and that's what we see in the scriptures, man. That's what we see in the scriptures, man. All right? And you know, Lord's willing, and I bring this last piece up out this Revelation 9:16. It reads, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000 thousands, and I heard the number of them. You know, I start from you know what? I start from verse 15. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year to slay the third part of men. And these are four angels that were told to not to hurt the earth until the elect were sealed, man. Okay, so after the elect is sealed, they're gonna be loose. All right, go ahead. Now do your thing. All right, and the angels gonna put into these people's spirits to launch these nukes. And it's gonna be it's gonna be 200 million missiles hitting America, man. Okay, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, all right, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and of jackethin and brimstone, okay, and the heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, because those nuclear warheads are gonna be fierce, man. It's gonna be fierce. They come in to tear to shreds and melt and annihilate and rip to pieces. They come in with strength, man. All right, and they describe these horses because they come in with power, man. And out of the mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone, which is the nukes, man. All right, which is the nuclear warhead, man. Okay, the nuclear warheads, man. And the vision was describing the nuclear missile, man. And by these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which was issued out of their mouths. All right, and Lord willing, you know, this video was edifying. All right, again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Citations to all Akim out there pushing his truth and all truth and sincerity diligently throughout the four corners. All right, yes, the arrows that are spoken of in Jeremiah, okay, they are talking about nuclear missiles. All right, they are. So if you ain't get the memo, the memo's out now, and if you can't believe it, hey, whether they hear it for bear, it's not for you, you're gonna die. All right, and Lord willing, like I said, this video is edifying. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Bashim Kakadash Barakatam Shalom. Shalom.